What's up, people? I'm Ranch watching Ray Reacts, and right now I'll be talking about perhaps the most trending movie on the internet, Oppenheimer. Now, Christopher Nolan is the writer and director, which is an absolute mark of quality. But this movie puts forth a lot of philosophical questions and really interesting thoughts about society that are really worth discussing. Okay, so this movie is so unique to the point that I can't even find words to describe it. The only word that I could think of is cinema. Now, I tend not to use this word a lot because I find it to be very outdated. But the fact that it's outdated doesn't mean that it's boring or old timey, it simply means that it's traditional. And Christopher Nolan has always committed himself to a traditional style of filmmaking. He has always shot on film like the old-timey movies, and he has used zero, and I mean zero CGI, so you can understand what place he's coming from. This commitment to traditional filmmaking, I think, is absolutely amazing because it allows the audience to immerse themselves into the world of Oppenheimer and connect with each of the characters and their individual journeys. This movie is a drama. It's an absolute dramatic movie with a slow pace and heavy dialogues. This movie is 3 hours long and you feel it. It feels like a 3 hour long movie. It takes its time, which I think is great. Some people might call it boring or a slow burn, but I think it gives each character the deserved time on screen, which is extremely important. It delivers its message in a perfect way, and I really enjoyed that. Christopher Nolan, in a very perfect way, has shown you the life of Oppenheimer. Not just in his capacity as a physicist, but as a husband, a father, a political leader, a man with a mission. This movie is not made just to sing praises about Oppenheimer. It shows you the complete picture. It doesn't hold back and shows you each one of Oppenheimer's flaws. He was not a perfect man, but he was a brilliant one, and that's what this movie shows you. It's a tribute to his brilliance as well as an exploration of his humanity, and I think the movie has done a terrific job in this aspect. Obviously, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so we have to talk about the acting. Let's start with Oppenheimer himself, Cillian Murphy. Now, I am a huge Cillian Murphy fan. Peaky Blinders is a great show. And I think Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer is nothing short of phenomenal. I think what Cillian Murphy has perfected in this role is showing you each one of Oppenheimer's emotions in different moments of his life. Like when he finds out that Florence Pugh's character has died, you can really feel his pain. Florence Pugh doesn't have a huge role in this movie, so we don't get to see her a lot. But the fact that he can make you feel the value of the relationship just by sitting on the ground and crying is some great acting. I love that. Let's also talk about Emily Blunt. Now, I haven't seen her in many things, but this movie made me a real Emily Blunt fan. The way she plays Oppenheimer's wife, she's like a guiding star. Whenever she knows he's making a mistake, she does everything in her capacity to help him. It's great. I absolutely loved her portrayal. One of the most interesting scenes with Emily Blunt is when she's giving her deposition before the council and the prosecutor is trying to get her to slip and say something wrong, but she doesn't. She stands up to him and does it well. I really like that. There was also the scene where she found out that the Trinity test was a success, and you can just see the joy in her eyes. She's so proud of her husband. Emily Blunt did such a good job of showing those emotions, and it was really, really good. Next, let's talk about Matt Damon. He plays the general who recruits Oppenheimer into the Manhattan Project and is kind of his superior. He's always the disapproving general who gives you impossible deadlines and is really harsh with you. But Matt Damon puts this wholesome spin on it. After the Trinity test, when everyone is celebrating, the way Matt Damon looks at Oppenheimer, that look of respect and courtesy, it means so much. Matt Damon has definitely done a great job considering the amount of screen time that he has. Obviously, we have to talk about Robert Downey Jr., who plays Lewis Strauss. Lewis Strauss is the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission and is kind of the antagonist of the story. He's always had opposing views with Oppenheimer, so he's kind of like a villain. He isn't evil, but he's done several weird and illegal stuff, so I guess he is kind of a villain. I'm gonna be honest, towards the beginning of the movie, I didn't like RDJ's character at all. I think what Robert Downey Jr. is so good at is expressing his own personality through his characters. That's what makes him so fun to see. And I wasn't really seeing that in the beginning of the movie, which is why Lewis Strauss felt flat and annoying. But towards the end of the movie, when he makes that amazing speech about Oppenheimer, That's when I felt the RDJ part of it. In his speech, he talks about how he knows Oppenheimer very well and how Oppenheimer can't be trusted. Obviously, he's just expressing his hate towards Oppenheimer, but I really enjoyed that entire monologue. It felt so cinematic and moving. I don't know whether it was the black and white, the directing, or the acting, but I absolutely loved that scene. You actually felt like he wasn't the villain for once. He was showing you his side of the story, and it was relatable. Being overshadowed by someone else's achievements is a real thing, and Robert Downey Jr. did a great job of showing it. Let's talk about Oppenheimer's personality, because that's really what this movie is about. It's an epic, dramatic view of Oppenheimer's life. Before the Manhattan Project, Oppenheimer has been shown as this brilliant, self-centered man who is plagued by deep, vivid visions. And he's been basically portrayed as delusional, borderline crazy. And it's such an interesting journey from that to how he met his wife and how much he loves Los Alamos. The fact that he loves Los Alamos so much is why he chose it as the center of the Manhattan Project. His journey with Florence Pugh's character, his deep understanding of physics, the way he manages his team at Los Alamos is all fantastic to see. I absolutely love both the writing and acting of this movie. This character arc serves as a poignant reminder that even brilliant minds are shaped by their personal experiences and relationships, ultimately impacting the course of history. But I think my favorite part of this movie is when Oppenheimer says that as physicists, they understand the threat of a nuclear bomb. But humanity won't fear it until they understand it, and they won't understand it until they use it. That's such a powerful statement that holds true for so many things in today's day and age, and I absolutely love that line. It's perhaps my favorite sentence from this entire movie. Later, he realizes the error in his judgment and is against building the bombs. He realizes that the more power you give people, the more they will use it, and so he tries to put an end to the nuclear arms race. This movie sends such a great message about the dangers of nuclear weapons. It's such a timely message, especially in today's day and age where nuclear threat is as big of a problem as it was in World War II. It will be very difficult to tackle the nuclear threat without sustained international pressure on the governments of these nuclear states. While there is good reason to be concerned, there's no reason to drift into despair or anything, because history shows us that progress can be made to reduce nuclear risks simply through international cooperation, as Oppenheimer hoped. That was actually his entire plan, reduce nuclear risks by international cooperation. At the end of the movie, Oppenheimer says that he's given humanity the key to the end of the world, and that's something we cannot take lightly. As we witness the challenges posed by nuclear weaponry, Oppenheimer serves as a cautionary tale and a call to collective action. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot. If you want to see more of my videos, then I promise you'll enjoy this one up here. Or if you want to see more of my movie reviews, here's a full playlist of that down here. So yeah, click on one of these and I will see you there.